Okay. Very, very important because the health of your organization, it rests in your catchers. If you have any fatigue or, God forbid you have an injury, it can affect your ability to frame. Now the pitchers are throwing more. Now there's more runners on base. It puts pressure on your defense. The catchers are pretty important. I got a catcher who broke his rib throwing. All right. I get the hardest cases. He broke a rib behind his shoulder blade. Fantastic catcher. And I realized looking at the program, there wasn't a preparation process. All right. So there's some similarities that you guys are going to have with position guys, and you guys will have some similarities with the recovery and some of the other positions as well. But I want to go through and you'll get a habit of understanding these things when you get in the app. All this gets pushed to a phone. Okay. Each day has a theme. And these themes, we can work together and make adjustments. That's the whole point of the service, is that some things will work, some things might not, but we will get it right together. Okay, we'll get it right. Each day has a theme like this. It'll tell you what you're doing that day, what you're supposed to do, who you are. If we have somebody who's a catcher on a position player's plan, we got a mistake. So we got to make sure that that's oriented well. These are optional workouts that you can do on other days. A lot of soft tissue work this day, but I want to go through some things. We are analyzing your inputs. So in the check-in section, you're going to be asked some questions, and I'll come out of this. In terms of how was your sleep quality? How does your throwing arm feel? How does your body feel? I want you guys to answer these honestly. Okay. It's not like it's Big Brother and I'm going to call your coach and say, hey, this guy's out partying all night. It's not about that. It's about us seeing your responses and how we can adjust. All right. As a simple rule, if your scores are low, right, you're not sleeping well, your body hurts, your arm doesn't feel good, we knock things to one set. All right. When you're doing it automatically, you're like, I'm not feeling great. I'm going to do one set. If the exercise only has one set, you do half the reps. I don't want to overwork your body when it's not ready. Okay. We got to get the right work in at the right time. There is another performance section that's important for me, and it's going to get a little monotonous, but I want this to be your habit. You're going to have to look at it every day. All right. I want you guys, and we have resources on our website, and you'll have those, to develop a daily affirmation for yourselves. For example, I have a player next year that could be the #1 overall pick as a private client. His arm's been killing him for years. I'm working with him, and every single day he says, I am that guy. He has it on sticky notes. It's on his phone. It's on his computer. He can't stop saying it to himself. That's an affirmation. When you think you're going to detour, you have to have a saying, something in your mind that says, I'm going to redirect. Okay? You have to redirect yourself. And I have some people on staff. We're going to give you more education in this area as we go along in the year. So build a strong affirmation. The other, you're not going to like, but we have supplement deals with college and pro and MLB approved supplements. But I do encourage you to try to drink beetroot juice. Who does that right now? Anybody? No one. Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
got two. We got two.
You guys. So beetroot juice, trying to have 8 ounces in the morning before you start your training day, it increases circulation throughout your body. If you're on blood thinners, ask a doctor, okay? Because you're putting a lot more in your body that opens up your blood vessels and it's like pathways into your throwing arm. We want to crush that, man. We want to be so good at circulation because everything heals, everything grows, right? Where blood flows, right? And so we need that, man. So the other thing is soft tissue care. We use a lot of transdermal salves. I can help you with that. We can talk about it if you want to make those. That's not really part of the package, but we use some things to promote circulation. You might have other things here that would be like a Mark Pro or a Compex. You want to start a little bit of recovery, in your day. You want to prime the arm properly. Some of you might have a routine already, and it fits there in terms of getting your arm ready, okay, or your body ready. If you're a catcher and your knees are sore, there's going to be some things that you got to be able to put in place, right, to do soft tissue care. But that's a consistent piece, okay, of what we do. Now, if I go down the rung, my goal for you guys, I'll race these guys. My goal for you guys for catchers is if we can do one full exam a week. If it's Monday, great. If it's Tuesday, great. If it's Wednesday or Thursday, wherever we can fit it in before we're lifting or throwing to get both arms, I'd be happy because we want to be able to determine, is there strength losses in both arms or just one? Is there some side to side imbalances? And then also your arm care data is really important, not having any weaknesses. So it'd be amazing to get that in. And so we talk about, an activation process, which is what you've been probably used to with the arm care sensor in routine, but we have our own activation, which is the same as on the arm care platform, but I go and coach it a little more. And that's, our consistency, doing that. And again, we're only trying to get that happening once a week, but if you get in the habit of prepping your arm daily as a catcher, great. So you take your fresh exam, you'll have some pre-throw routines. I have a catcher's routine that I'll show you, but if there's other things that the team does as part of your throwing programming, right, this is where you got to be putting that in. As part of preparation, I have some rotational rowing that I think is really important for all of you guys and pressing to get the habit of staying closed and loading your core. So that's a strength and coordination component right there. And then I do recommend, okay, catchers, try to think of your hardest throwing days. If you can do the two exams, two arms on the same day and a post exam after, that would be awesome to see how much fatigue you have. Okay. That would be great if you can find that. I then have this batting practice prep option. All right. And there's different ones. Some are banded bat exercises, some are flows. And then in here, this, it's all video guided like you have it, and there'll be descriptions where needed. And then there's a lot of trigger point work. Okay. You're going to notice with foam rollers and trigger points, it's resetting tissues. How many of you guys are lacrosse ball fans? Okay, a lot of you. I want to challenge that with using a tennis ball. I want to try a tennis ball so that I don't have the fear of you rolling over bones and that your face isn't grimacing. Sometimes when the implement is too hard, it spikes up fight or flight in your body. You can feel like there's discomfort and you get sore. You start doing a rebound of guarding. So I would like for you guys to try, if you can, utilizing a tennis ball for some of this. That's all of you. See if you respond a little better. You don't have as much tightness or residual soreness after. Okay. But you can do these things. You can own these processes and use them at the end of your day. You're done doing work, at your place, you're watching TV or whatever you may be doing, then you can go and you can start to grind on muscle groups while with a foam roller. They're pretty inexpensive to have in your bag or at your house, and you can continue the work. I mean, your body is your business. I have a lot of messaging like that. The word is has a dollar sign. I always say quality reps, cash checks. Some of you in this room, you have a chance to go on play independent league baseball. Some of you may even be drafted. But you have to have the mindset and approach that you are worth something. If you think you're worth $1 million, then you'll end up doing these things because you'll take care of your body and say it's worth it to me. But for your team, when you don't take care of your body, it leads everybody down a wrong path. All right. And I know I'm getting on the catchers, but and at the bottom, what I have here is if you're catching guys, okay, on Sundays, or I just recommend if you can get on a mound after a mound day of using an arm bike, that would be phenomenal. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay. This is one that's really inexpensive. So remember I said like blood flow, muscles grow, recovery happens. You put it on a table and you cycle. And the reason why that's so important is that your legs are inactive. Where do you think all that blood flow is going? It's got to go to your upper extremities, right? And that's what we want. So I have that in there, as a part of your process, okay, that we can utilize. There's a checkout on all of these, and you guys will all have this. Like, please answer these. Like, if you threw today, how hard was it? Speed training, rating that. hitting, rate that, weights, rate that, because we want to see what is the difficulty this athlete's handling on a daily basis. So those are checkout questions. You should complete them because we want to look at that data. And then the post-training routine. Okay. And these are common elements for all of you. There are recovery shakes that I want you guys to try. I want you to download the recovery shake packet that are supplement free. Too many supplements have metal in them. Okay. Chocolate, not very good. There's a lot of lead and cadmium in them. The whey protein now and vanilla, they've been, some of the companies, I asked them to report if it's been tested. Even if it has been approved by MLB, there's a lot of metal in some of these. And so I want to give you some other options, not those. I'll get to those in a bit. This. If you're not allergic to peanut butter or peanuts, okay, this particular brand has a few things. It's a powder. 7 grams of protein in this powder. Working with our dietitians, you should aim to have 20 grams of protein within 20 minutes after exercise. Nutrition wise, you should aim to have some caloric intake, preferably a protein, a carb, and a fat, if you can, even in your snacks, every 3 hours. Okay, that's going to help you. But I look for things that have these stickers on it. USDA organic, non-GMO, and then the supplements to know that they're safe. And if you're taking supplements, I get a big discount for all our athletes, but they should be safe from the NSF. I'll put that in real quick so you can see that website. NSF certified for sport. If you're not seeing this logo, it's not certified. It's impure. All right, you're taking something that could be potentially banned. So I don't want you doing that because you represent the school, you represent my company, you represent your family. You want to have the best products possible. Okay, so that's something that you should be aware of. Okay, in making shakes, I do want you guys as well to get this app. Okay, Yuka app. It's very important to really understand what's going in your body. Okay. This app is going to allow you to scan barcodes. How many of you guys eat cereal? Let me see a show of hands. Don't fall asleep on me. Okay, there's enough for me to be worried. You need to, whatever comes out of a box or a bag, I'm hoping that you'll scan with this app because you're going to know its score. Like, for example, Honey Nut Cheerios has an 8 out of 100. If you can make a goal, I like to say if you can get 60 or above, fantastic. But if you can make a goal, all right, of having a green dot on the things you eat, so over a 50, I'm happy because now you're putting better food into your bodies, okay? And it's going to convert, I promise, all right? So that's that part. Now, soft tissue care, again, you may have technology, things that you use. We can talk about this down the road about, how to improve your recovery with other implements, but you need to have a recovery process after training, something that you're doing. Some of you might want to get into a hot tub or, even if you got a clean bathtub, if you can clean your bathtub, if you have one and do Epsom salt baths, I'll send you a protocol, catchers for sure. Loosen up your muscles, fix your joints. They're going to be really tight after games. And then the one thing I didn't get into was the body weight part. We do a body weight at the beginning and we do it towards the end of the day to see how much water weight you've lost. You guys need to be drinking at least half your body weight in ounces for pounds. So if I'm 200 pounds, 100 ounces. And on that topic, let me see. On that topic, I don't want you drinking out of plastic if you can avoid it. Plastic has phytoestrogens. Okay. It's the opposite of testosterone. It's the female hormone. If you can commit to stainless steel as much as possible, you're going to boost your testosterone. We're going to grow and it's going to show. Your muscles are going to improve, by getting rid of things that can increase your estrogen levels. So half your body weight in water. And when we get to, got like a 32-ounce tumbler, some of these things where you can say, okay, well, I need to have like close to 100 ounces. You can do the math and make sure you're drinking enough. Okay. It's a key. And then there's the evening routine, cherry juice. If you can find cherry juice that's organic or non-GMO and have 8 ounces 2 hours before bed so you don't pee your bed or you don't have to get up, let's do that because that's going to lower your soreness. Okay. Especially pitchers, got to do it. I do like the soft tissue care. I have three of them that you can pull. You can kind of find what's your rhythm of those, but that might be at the end of the day, you do that Epsom salt bath. It might be you have a lukewarm shower that cools your body down before bed, whatever it may be. But I don't want to go through a day without you guys doing some form of gratitude. I'm very grateful that I get a chance to speak with you. This is amazing. I'm very grateful that I get to serve, coach because he was a player of mine and I can give back to him. You guys need to go about your day and find one thing you're grateful for because if you can put your bodies in a positive position when you sleep, your growth hormone is going to escalate. If you're stressed, you have cortisol, you're attacking yourself, our testosterone and growth hormone drop. Okay. The other thing is visualization practice. There's packets. I want you to download them. I'm going to make sure you guys get that. Make sure that Tyler's giving that to you too. That there are visualization practices in there to do. How many of you visualize? How many of you actually practice it? Yeah, you need to practice it in practice. When you're having your competitive games, right? You're doing inner squads, whatever it may be, you need to take a moment and build a visualization routine. And when you have a bad game, it doesn't work out, you're not allowed to go home and be angry about it in bed. That's where you can calm your mind and say, okay, I'm going to revisit that moment. I missed that breaking ball 0 count that I should have hit 700 feet. I'm going to see myself do it the next time. I'm going to see this guy again. He's a lefty. He throws kind of high 3/4. It loops. I'm seeing it. I'm pounding it. I'm seeing it from the perspective of my parents being in the stands. I'm actually watching myself hammer this pitch from the pitcher's eyes. You need to have a visualization practice to quickly recalibrate. You're not allowed to go to bed without a learning moment and to change it. Can't live in the past. So you got to be able to use this to improve your future. Okay. This goes for everybody. I'm going to give a little overview of each day. I'm not going to get into the whole deal because we got to get through other ones, but we talked about bat flow. When it comes to catchers, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll have the arm care parts in it. As I mentioned, I want you to do both arms, but start with your throwing arm. Okay. Some of them are two hands at once in sections, but I want you to focus on doing the throwing arm first, then the non-throwing arm, not the other way around. Okay. We're not sharing the load anymore. All right. So you'll go through your day. There's some consistency and range of motion. All right. I want to make sure that we're mobilizing in very similar exercises so that we can determine where the restrictions could be. These are things that I have in there and they may be subject to adjustment, but your ball joints, your shoulders, your hips, your ankles are really, prone to being restricted. So a lot of it is focused on that. And also behind your shoulder is your capsule for your shoulder. We're focused on doing stuff about that. I know you guys had a plan last year that sort of introduced you to more of those things. So it won't be crazy. Now, if it's a non-mound day, I've said this for position guys too. If you can get one of those arm bikes and just utilize it, maybe you guys chip in and everybody in the house puts $10 down and you get one for the home, then you guys have an opportunity to keep the blood flow going. All right. The bottom of the days are the same as I mentioned. Tuesday, we have catching prep. So I'll have 3 exercises for you guys to prep your body for catching. All right. To work on stabilization, being good with an arm outstretched in a squat. You'll have batting practice parts. And then we have a speed agility segment here. And speaking with your coaches, we can pare it down. It might be like, well, we can get the warm up in and maybe 2 of these. That's okay. Because we'll have options. Maybe the next week around, we do the C and the D's, right? And there's range of motion to be done. And I want you to commit to it if you can. Okay. Wednesdays, this is more of another arm care focused training day. No speed. Tuesday, all right, is another speed day with catching prep. All right. It'll be all coming up in your app, the bat flow option. There's going to be the speed component here. Again, you might have to pick and choose, but I've given you some really good options in range of motion. Friday is another arm care day. I made it optional because you guys might get tired. If you can commit to it, great. Okay. If you can keep taking care of your arm and doing this stuff, great. I'm super happy about what you're capable of doing. And then there's a plyo ball vibration routine that I want to start getting more blood flow into your arm so that on Saturday is another recovery day that you can work on this. Okay.